Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Freeman Files on the J Free 906 podcast. Tom and Seth and I with you here tonight. How are you guys doing?
Staying warm. Trying to stay warm.
Same.
A balmy minus 20 this morning.
Oh my gosh, yeah, 41 here in Florida. I saw somebody else was in Florida on the chat here, a couple of people, and they said it was cold. Yes, it's cold for Florida.
Yeah, we got snow the other day on the ground here in Texas, so that's always exciting.
That ain't right. That's not right. That's not right. Yeah, I know that. I think Pensacola had snow or something.
Wow.
Well, some of the southern states, first time ever they ever had a blizzard warning or something.
Oh, wow.
Down along the coast, the Gulf Coast or whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
First time ever. Yeah.
Well, thank you all for being here with us tonight. We appreciate it very, very much. We are going to be talking about The Curse of Oak Island, Season 12, Episode number 9.
Wow, number 9 already.
Brick by brick. I don't know what happened there. There we go. Let me switch that back. Brick by brick. And
I thought there was going to be Legos.
Yeah.
Lego
by Lego. Yeah, right.
I was like, ooh, Legos.
16th century Legos, 15th century Legos.
Yeah,
right, Tom.
It was a good show. I've been messing, as you know, down here in Florida at a RV resort. And so I don't have my usual studio. I don't know. I probably got a shiny forehead. Trying to work with the lighting in here, trying to make it a little bit better, but it looks a little scary bright there. But anyway.
You look good.
Well, thank you, but I don't know. I tell you what, last night's show, folks, and if you haven't already, I was just going to say, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that very much. And if you like the content of the show we do here for you tonight, please give us a thumbs up. We like that as well. As you know, I have run most of the season. I've run with a new intro video there at the beginning to kind of get things rolling. And one of the things that it does not have is the Patreon, the patrons that I have on Patreon. I was listing them there for a while, but I do want to reach out and say thank you very much to all who donate to the show, whether it be on Patreon, whether it be on Venmo or PayPal or whatever it is. Thank you so very much. And those who do super chats and things like that, it does cost to do this. All that goes into this podcast. I mean, it doesn't, it didn't pay for my trip to come down to Florida or anything like that. It goes right into the podcast.
Not exactly a money-making venture.
Exactly.
It's an adventure, but not money-making.
Yeah, right. It helps. It doesn't pay the cost of everything, but it does help, and I appreciate it so very much. So thank you. I know I haven't said that recently, but I wanted to do that tonight. So thank you very much.
So, Seth, if you're waiting for your dividend check.
No, being here is the payment.
There you go.
I tell you what, honestly, it's a payment to our. I'm so happy to have both of you guys. Truly, you make, and Linda and Jan and all of you. It takes a team, and I appreciate your volunteering for all of this to make it happen.
And the people like Zig and Henry out there doing the research. So
absolutely, Zig, yeah, got some stuff from Zig that we're going to show here tonight as well. So wanted to also say that in some of the past episodes that we had that were not some of the better Curse of Oak Island episodes, and they had a Tales of Oak Island right on afterwards. Tom and I would sometimes combine them together, but not for last night, right, Tom? I mean,
there's just too much information. We'd be here till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we'd be here all night talking about the Tales. The Hedden one was awesome.
It was amazing. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, people.
Yeah, it was a good one. So what we're going to do, Tom and I are going to, and so hopefully Seth, if he can join us, we are going to do a separate show on the Hedden episode of Tales of Oak Island. We're going to do that. Probably we're going to shoot for next week. I haven't talked to the boss about it, but we're going to shoot for next week and try to put one together for you on that, because that was a really, really good show. And something that Tom and I have been talking about for a while now. We want to kind of tease it here a little bit tonight. And I'll let Tom take over here, but you know how they've talked about the multi-generational use of Oak Island, right? So how about a little mini series? Go ahead, Tom. What do you think?
I think we should. I think we're going to reach out and talk to a few people, because we've got guys like, McQuestion, who was talked about last night. We got, of course, the infamous Scott Clark. So if you don't get these books, folks, you got to go get them quick before next week.
Yep.
Then we want to talk about Vikings, and they mentioned this fella, Doug Simmons.
Yep.
Right? Then, of course, you couldn't go anywhere else without a map or a puzzle. That's Jake
Yep.
Roberts.
Yep.
Then you got, Corian and Chris.
Yep.
Right? They're brought up last night, right? And while they didn't specifically name her, you've got people like Gretchen talking about yours.
Absolutely.
So, homework, got to cram for next week.
Yeah. So we're going to start. What we're going to do is we're going to put together a little mini series. Not sure how many episodes it's going to be just yet, but we're working on it, and we're trying to get this done as quickly as we can. But we're going to put together a little mini series. It's going to be the Oak Island files on the Freeman files, and we're going to chronologically put them in order of all of the possible multi-generational users of Oak Island, and put them all together. And and we'll release it like every couple of days or something like that. So that's coming up. So stay tuned. And again, that's a good reason, because they're going to be pre-recorded. They're not going to be a live show. It's just going to be too difficult to do that. So make sure you click on that subscribe button, click on that notification bell, so you'll know as soon as we release the next episode on that series coming up. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be covering a lot of people in this.
We've already got a couple of theorists already agreed to jump
Yep.
in with it. So.
That's good. Honestly, I think it's good for the theorists, because as a fan of both the show, Oak Island, and then this show, I remember all those people that Tom just mentioned, they've been on this show before, right, Jeff? You've interviewed every single one of them.
Yep.
Every one of them has been on the show before.
I haven't read every single one of those books, but I've read more than half. And I didn't go out and buy them after seeing it on Oak Island.
Right.
I was interested, but it was watching them talk to you and really get into it that made me excited and be like, I want to go get this book. And seeing Tom bust out his notes, maybe I'm going to get that book. So I'm excited for them, because that's another thing that's been cool about Tales, is getting them, seeing the exposure of these great authors and researchers.
And make sure you go buy a bunch of yellow stickies too.
Yeah, you gotta have yellow stickies. Gotta have
yellow
all of
stickies.
Yeah. Yep.
That's exciting.
Sorry, Doug, about marking your book up.
Well, he'll give you another signed copy or something. But anyway, so that's going to be coming up. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of work, but we'll figure out how to make it happen, because I think it's important because of that timeline. And, we've often said, if all these researchers and authors would get together and they may all be partially correct in this storyline. So, and I think that's what needs to be out there. So we're going to work on that, put that together. We also have a giveaway again tonight. We have a couple of things. I'll show a quick picture of them, and then we'll get started here. And they are a book, the latest book from James McQuiston, Oak Island Missing Links, cool. And also a sticker, Oak Island, Nova Scotia. And I forget, obviously, the book. Is these from Jan? Both these from Jan, Linda? Yep, she's nodding. Yep, both of them are from Jan. So thank you, Jan.
Thanks.
And we'll do that in a little bit. We'll give those, or we'll do the spinaroo on those, and we'll talk a little bit about that.
You better get that book too. I hope somebody gets it and people buy it, because Jim is one of the people that's already agreed to talk to us.
Yeah, he was ready to go tonight.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's get started. Let's get started with this. If I can get my my mouse to work here. There we go. So last night's episode, Brick by Brick, and I'm getting over this. I finally broke down after 4.5 weeks. I broke down and went to the emergency, or not emergency, the Med Express, and got on some antibiotics. So I'm feeling much better now. But man, phew, it was a long sickness going on there. But anyway. All right, Brick by Brick. So the guys start off in the money pit. And again, this money pit, a little bit confusing, quite honestly. And at first I was wondering if our friends over at Prometheus were mixing up scenes from different things or not, or if we were sticking with one borehole to the next, which I would assume they're doing that. But it sure gets confusing when they talk about some of the stuff that Tom's going to show you here tonight as we go along. But Terry said that, right off the bat, Terry's there, and he was talking about this. He said, we are hoping for a structure at 150 feet. Okay. So around 150 feet. Then Robert Clotworthy, the narrator, said over the past 3 weeks, the Oak Island team has drilled through a mysterious 9-foot-high tunnel, some 109 feet on multiple occasions. Now, we've seen a couple of these occasions, the last 2 boreholes, but, so how many have they actually been? We don't know. But they were working initially on it was D.25-8.25. And at that 109 feet, lo and behold, they find this big chunk of wood. That's got to be an upright beam, a support beam, don't you think?
It's vertical, so
yeah,
I guess.
Was it like kind of cut halfway through? Because it was what, like 2.5 feet long?
Yeah, that piece there was about 2.5 feet long. Actually, it was 2 chunks, and this shot here is where Terry kind of glued them together, because it was split. We're in that big split you see running down there. That was it broke it apart. The sonic drill rig broke it apart as it was going through there. But a support beam. Now, so they found that piece at 109 feet. And then Robert said, and again, Robert Clotworthy is just simply reading the script that he's given to read. Okay, so he's not interjecting his own thoughts into this, but he said, previously unknown 9-foot tunnel. Now we know that sometimes what they say on the show, what the narrator says, what Robert says on the show, is not exactly what the guys feel.
No, he's just reading a script, right?
Exactly.
Somebody's typed that up to create the story. So
right. So they hit this wood at 109 feet in that borehole. This was D.25-8.25, and they hit this piece of wood at 109 feet, and then at 158 feet, they hit bedrock, and the core sample was nothing. It was all in situ.
Nothing there to see. No.
Nothing there to see. So they jump over to this one here. This is the D.25-8.25, and then they jump over here to this one, which is D.75-6.6.
Yep.
Now, at 119 feet, they hit shreds of wood, little pieces of wood. Whoops, a little too early for that one. Hang on a second. So they hit little shreds of wood, and then here it is right here. Okay. I mean, little shreds of wood. And then I think Terry says something about the bottom of a structure. But then at 129 feet, they had backfill. Tom, what?
That's what I couldn't figure out. How you could be into something. It's all in situ all the way down. You hit this wooden pieces, particles, whatever, at around 119, 120 feet. They start getting into it up to 129 feet. Then they get into backfill. Then you leave the backfill to go through, I'm guessing, in situ soils and get down to 157 feet and you hit a void. So where did the backfill come from?
Yeah. How could you hit backfill
and then not hit backfill?
Yeah, and then not hit backfill, and then hit a void. What the heck? I mean, we know that the drill, we've talked about this many, many times on the show, and we know that the drill, as it's going down, it'll drift off this way, and then it'll drift off that way. But as you see here, and Tom having the closed captioning on, you can see exactly what they're saying there. Boreholes 0.75, 6.6, depth of 120 feet, and then we're down to 129 backfill, and then a void at 157. I
don't know. I mean, what's the possibilities? What's the possibilities for the source of the backfill? Was that as deep as a particular caisson had gone that they had run into? Maybe that's as deep as they went, and they just kind of ran across the bottom of it. Maybe, I don't know. They got a lot of it. They got 9 or 10 feet worth there, I would say. They got a couple of when they cut that first sleeve open, I looked at it and went, that's backfill.
Yeah.
And then we cut the second sleeve open. That's when they made the comment about backfill. So they've got at least, I don't know, between 5 and 10 feet of backfill there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they go down another 30 feet, and they hit a void. And I can't remember if he said empty void. Does anybody remember if Mike used the word empty?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like nothing. He said it was like nothing, or for like
nothing. I had written down nothing solid, but I don't know if it was empty. That would mean no water in it too, right? I mean,
right. That's why I've got to go back and look again for my own peace of mind. Because if he said empty, empty is empty. Empty is not a bunch of water floating around. And either which way, empty, not empty. Where's that friggin' camera?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where is that camera? Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. There's got to be a camera in there somewhere, getting down there, or send the sonar down. If you got a void, I mean, get something down in that hole to get a better look at it. That's
because he said it dropped. What did he say? That he had a plug and it dropped out of the bottom.
Yes, he did. Mike did say that. He said it dropped out of the bottom of his drill of his.
Maybe that's where I'm thinking he means empty, or he said dropped. But I guess you could drop through a void of water, I guess.
Oh, see, even Renee says, I thought he said empty. They do pump a lot of water. There is a lot of water going in there when they're doing that. Dunfield backfill, maybe, but theirs is obvious backfill, sand and a gravel sand mix.
Yeah, I think that's case on. Yeah, I think that's case on backfill.
Yeah, I do too.
I think when Dunfield backfilled, his version of backfill was just bulldoze everything back in the hole.
Yeah, he bulldozed junk back in there.
Yeah.
Same junk that he took out.
So they moved to where a caisson had been, or backfill from a caisson has shifted underground and is now in other boreholes.
Right. Well, and you know what? I mean, let me get to this next picture here because Tom has a good picture for this. And it's this one right here. Using this, you've got the solution channel running through there. These green lines here are the solution channel. Now,
what's a solution channel?
It's a.
It could be an open channel. It could be a slurry. It could be water.
Slurry is what I was going to say.
Yeah, of stuff that they say that's what they're trying to track back the gold and silver through is this solutions channel.
Yep.
Right. So if that's as wide as it is, it's kind of all inclusive. It doesn't mean it's all at the same level either, right? It could be, up, down, sideways, just like going through a cave solution channel. And it could be hitting it. It could be hitting into other tunnels and shafts too.
Yeah.
So,
and where they're digging, where they're drilling is right about in here. And in this general area is where they're doing these boreholes. So
right.
It might be hitting part of that solution channel. If backfill got in there, would it wash away? I mean,
yeah.
And then when they say stuff like the caisson that collapsed.
Yes.
Where did that stuff all go?
Yeah.
Into Aladdin's cave, and it's all on the side.
That's what was filling up Aladdin's cave. Yeah.
Is there some little guy down there with a shovel moving it all out of the way? I don't
know. When they say stuff like, okay, this tunnel, we've hit a tunnel previously unknown. I kind of think, well, there's really no way, right? Like that you would know if it's not a tunnel somewhere else. So I feel like for this area, we don't know of any tunnels. Kind of how he said earlier, like we don't know of anything in this area. And then they're saying, oh, we've hit an unknown tunnel. My thought is like, you mean unknown for this spot, right? Because it could be part of a tunnel that they have hit before, right?
Right, because they know that they're hitting stuff down at 109. So if you can hit stuff down at 109, not all tunnels run, level, flat, right? Tunnel could be like this.
Oh, thanks, Zane, with the nice definition. Sorry.
An elongated void within a rock, which has been enlarged by a solution of rock by
word.
Yeah, groundwater. Solution channels are most commonly associated with carbonate rocks, and groundwater in them can flow as fast as a river underground. And
And we know those are in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, So, I mean, when you get into this backfill stuff, I mean, they have to do it when they take a caisson out, or you'll have a major collapse of the area. So they have to do it, but they're filling up if it's just simply the caisson going down, that's one thing. But if they hit a void at the bottom, like H8, they're going to fill up that void as well. Or if there's a solution channel, it's going to go right into the solution channel. And you wouldn't know that the solution channel was there. Well, you might, as the caisson it goes down, you're blocking it off right inside that caisson. And as the hammer grab is pulling out, you're going to come to that solution channel. You're going to pull up some of that, and you've seen that slurry come up out of that hammer grab before.
Oh, like the toonie that Marty threw down one, and they got out of the other.
Toonie, it floated what, 15 feet,
something like that.
Yeah. Moving underground, like when Marty tossed a coin down in the drill hole. But didn't find it when they put the caisson down in a different area and then found his coin. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we know from the seismic testing that Jeremy and those guys did that there's voids down there.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And when they're like, we're going to drill here because now the water is testing for these high minerals. Well, that doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't in terms of like them being there because they drilled the other areas where the high mineral contents were being found. And then now they're not there anymore. So I'm more interested in why are these readings shifting around?
Mm-hmm.
And then since we know just from Marty's coin moving in such a short time span, I'm not convinced that even if we find where the money pit was, that anything's still going to be there. It's going to be scattered across the whole area probably, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, to your point, Steph, just because they at one time may have dug a shaft and a tunnel down there, had an offset chamber, put everything in an offset chamber. At the time, it looked totally solid. But over the course of 200 or 300 years, a solutions channel, guess what? Your little room's gone. Dang.
Yep. Got another picture here. This one is from Zane, who's in the chat here tonight. Again, Zane, thank you very much. This is showing some of the most recent boreholes that were dug. All these up here in the top are the ones that they've been doing recently. And they're all right at about the top of the Hedden Shaft. This blue area you see here, running across here, that's the Hedden Shaft. Chappell Shaft's over here, and then you've got some others. We're going to talk about some of these other ones coming up here pretty quick. One thing I wanted to point out, though, too, was this right here. Look up here at the top. C1. That's your C1 and a 170-foot cavern. There is a cavity down there. Remember the camera that went down in C1?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw what looked like some wrought iron down there, some stuff like that.
Yeah. That's when my brain can, when they put cameras down and you get the caisson, the whole drill program, the sonic drill program leading up to the caissons every year makes me feel like stupid, because I get so lost where I'm like, wait, what? Wood? Cool. Wood's promising, right? Nothing? Oh, okay. Nothing.
Yeah.
And then I've got to try and figure out, well, like, why? So for me, thank you, Zane, and this, you guys for digging in. Because honestly, when the show's on, I think my brain almost like glosses over until it's like gold. I hear the keywords and then I perk up, and I got to rewatch the show to really somewhat grasp where they're at and what they're doing.
That's why he had to see.
Right.
And it's one of those things. I'm a visual person. I've said that before. I've got to see it, I got not to see it to believe it, but see it to orient it in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And Zane is really helping out with that. I really appreciate that a lot. Now, what they had said about this particular void, when they hit that void at 157-ish feet, they were thinking that they didn't hit the Chappell Vault. Okay. And so the graph that they showed, or the picture they showed, was this here, that they hit a open chamber that they think may be the chamber in which, or the void in which the Chappell Vault is in, but they missed it. So that's what they're kind of talking about here. So is that the case? We simply do not know. But going back to what Tom said, get a camera down. Now, we don't know that they didn't put a camera down, and they often do.
Oh, yeah. I would expect that they would. I mean, probably if it's water in there, it's going to be all messed up. So they're going to have to wait a few days for it to settle.
Exactly. Yeah. With all that drilling going on and everything, it's going to be just a muddy mess.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that's really cool there. And then, and again, thanks to Zane, we have another picture here. Well, this one here, the first one I want to show you, this is, and this was, you could probably see it a little bit on Zane's map there. He's got a better one coming up here. But this one here, this is from Professor Hamilton's 1942 map, where he had done several. This thing is busy. This thing is really, really busy. There's a lot of stuff happening in here. You can see the Hedden Shaft right here. This is the Hedden one. Here's the chapel. You can see them marked out here. All the markings on there is what they are. And then look at this right here. You got the Halifax Tunnel, 1867. Professor Hamilton's 1942 tunnel, and it goes. Look at it. It goes right all the way up into here.
Yeah.
They were trying to figure out another way to get into that money pit. And then you got all these shafts in here. Number 8 shaft, mostly above our tunnel, it says. 1850, number 3 at 109 feet. Where have you heard 109 feet before? Number 8, or is that I don't know if that's 8. I think it's 8. 1863 to 1865, down to 107 feet.
Yep. So we got a pretty good idea where that 109 foot wood's coming from.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to point out with that. When he said, when you have the narrator, Robert Cloutworthy saying unknown tunnel. That's what he had said. An unknown 9-foot tunnel. Okay. But I think the team knows about that. I mean, they would know about
Oh, yeah.
This, right?
They
would have to know about this.
Nope. You guys got them beat. I'm just kidding. Of course they would know. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, and you see some of the information written on here. It says 7 foot long out of side of Hamilton Tunnel and deepened. And that's pointing to this thing right here.
So yeah, so they put their own version of an offset chamber in down there looking around.
Exactly. Yeah. 118 feet shaft, 1850 with timbers right here was put in. I mean, so if
the amount of wood those guys brought in, like if you watch the thing afterwards about Hedden and saw the wood piles that they had down there.
Yes.
The amount of lumber that those guys and timbers they brought in was absolutely scary.
That Hedden shaft was, I mean, it was well constructed.
12 by 24 too, so it's not so small.
12 by 24. Look at that. 12 by 24. And then you see the water tunnel too. You see the water tunnel right here coming in, the flood tunnel. Okay. Part of the thing that I wanted to say about all of this right here is that I think they're now digging in the proper area. I think they're now looking in the right area. They were talking about the offset chamber. So, and if they were looking up toward the baby blob and all that, where it looked like the water was, the concentration of gold and silver and all that in the water was really strong up there. They were saying it was coming from there. I think they're back in the right spot. The one you've circled is Restall's tunnel. It was down to 118 feet. Oh, this one down here in the bottom. Okay. Thank you, Zane. Yeah, right there. So here's another picture that Zane put together that I wanted to show right here. Now, I had to have him take out the grid lines. Thanks, Tom, on that suggestion. But this kind of gives you another look at it in a different way. And again, how Zane goes through and does all this, I have no idea. But thank you the fact that you can and do this. But you see a lot of other stuff. Shaft 6 in here, shaft 14 in here, shaft 12, shaft 2, shaft 3, another shaft 2. Yeah, they're still not sure about these shaft 2s, I think.
Yeah, it depends on which year you want to look at and who was digging it, right? The different people had multiple shafts, and there could be 2 or 3 shaft 2s.
But Professor Hamilton in 1942, they went through a big ordeal to get this thing in there.
Yeah,
going all the way around here and trying.
He took over from Hedden, right?
Yeah,
he took over from Hedden. Yeah,
yeah, because Hedden was 1937. Yeah. So wow, is that cool or what? I mean, and so when they're hitting all this different wood, they know. The guys know. There's no way they can't know.
Well, I mean, it's the old story, right? There's a show they got to narrate and sell, and there's a search.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The two sides of this whole coin. Yep. Absolutely.
Cool.
So
that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, to try to break it all down and explain that, the difference between the current narrative and what the guys are doing on the island to some degree.
Yep.
So I'm glad that they hit this void. Is it possible that they're into the actual chamber where the Chappell Vault is? It's possible. We don't know yet. It'd be great for them to put a camera down, but we may never see that. But all these questions about the solution channel and the wood they're hitting and the in situ and all this could be answered very soon because of a special guest that we're going to have coming up. Don't have a date yet, but we're working on him. Going to be a surprise, but he knows all about this stuff. 2 people possibly coming on. So we got some guests lined up from the show, and we'll announce that. I'm teasing it. I know I'm just throwing a teaser out there. Call me Prometheus or whatever, but yeah, we've got some good stuff coming up.
Next time
on the J Free 906 podcast. What were you going to say, Tom?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Speculation is free. and it's plentiful. Right here. It is. Okay, so all right, let's jump over to the lot 5. Because lot 5 was kind of interesting on the show last night as well. Fiona was looking in this hole right here that they had jumped into this little pit, and she said this test pit area has been a conundrum to use or to us. Haven't found anything at this level. So they're still working a little bit north of their area there that they found where the circular feature used to be.
You see where her little test pit is there? On the top edge of it. Does that look like discolored or burnt soil?
Yeah, it does.
It actually does. Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's certainly
Right
darker.
here.
Why?
Right here. Is that what you're talking about? This area behind Gary? Yeah.
I wonder if they found any charcoal or stuff. They would talk about it if they found charcoal.
They
right?
would. You would think so.
Pretty exciting for them to find charcoal.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yep.
And then Gary gets got to be fire pits in there, right? It's like a mini settlement. There's got to be fire pits all over the place, but
absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah, I would say so. Gary gets a hit, and he said it was some kind of iron in the side of it, so that means they got to keep going that way, right? They got to keep digging in that direction, and are doing their archaeology work and keep going in that direction to see what's going on there. That was kind of cool to bring Gary in there because, oh, here's my $10 button. Don't need Gary to find this one. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, somebody spent some time around there because there's a million flags around that whole area.
Oh yeah. What was kind of cool about this too is that they said Gary comes to metal detect and he can scan, but because of the special place,
yep,
designated a special place, because of that he can't you notice all he did was beep 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 beep, that was it, and he can't dig it. The archaeologists have to do it. So yeah, he found some iron hits. Then he moved over to what they were calling the yard, where you see Moya sitting right there, and she's working that area. They go over to the yard, and he finds a lot of iron, a lot more things. He said, "Man, you're going to be busy over here." And then you see the big smile on his face. And he said that the sound that it was making could either be copper, lead, or gold with that particular tone. And that's how those metal detectors, you get on mine, I know when you get iron, it gives a low grunt. And then when you get something really good, it's a high-pitched.
Get the squeal.
It reminds me of like R2D2, talking to you.
It is. And I love hearing those sounds.
Go.
Get your shovel going.
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, he hit something really cool, and then you see him just shortly thereafter. You see Laird working in that spot, right? So there's Laird, and Craig's over helping, but Laird's like he wants to find that whatever that was setting it off and beeping, and lo and behold, he finds a button.
Another button. Buttons and wood.
Yeah,
A Tale of Oak Island.
Yeah, this was kind of cool. He called it a at least two parts to this button. That was kind of cool. And then he flipped it over. Look at this side. You can see a little bit of a design on it, but we couldn't really make out much of anything with that picture. You can kind of see the flower petals going around the outside a little bit on it. And then they took it over to the lab and they got to look at it in there with all the, the repeat of how the machines work. But thank goodness they can do this, right?
Right. Yeah. As much as, we get the flashback of here's how this machine works with the animation of the rays going
That's
through.
when you take a sip of wine.
Yeah. Yeah. As much as like that can get, I've seen this again, but this is so cool. It just mind blowing.
I love how she can pull up the layers of it, and you can see.
Watching them go through it.
That is so cool.
Chef's kiss. It's perfect, right? Like I wanted to like if I was on the island, can you just imagine digging something out and be like, here, show me. What is this? Like, wow.
Yeah. Very impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I can't overstress how cool it is that remember when they had to drive like 5 hours to get stuff like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I kind of miss those two university analysts we used to see all the time.
I know.
We don't see them much anymore.
Dr. Brousseau and whoever
Dr. Brousseau, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, now we got the lab on the island. Anyway, sorry. I was just wanted to talk because this is one of those moments when you watch that show and like other people in the room maybe aren't in Oak Island, you could be like, look how cool this is.
Oh, absolutely. And it really is fantastic. I mean, I remember when they started off with an XRF gun and they had it over in the trailer. And I remember they had it set up in the bottom of this table and they were using that at first. And now they got this big old machine in there, which is really cool. So it's much faster, Sharon. Absolutely. So this button turned out to be pretty cool. And I was looking, I mean, I spent probably about a half an hour today looking online at different buttons, trying to see if I could get any kind of a match. The weird thing I found out about this button, when I was looking, I found a lot of buttons that had a flower design on it, but were 5 petals, 6 or 8.
Yeah, 7. I couldn't find any 7 petals.
This one has 7
buttons.
I couldn't find any that had only 7. So 5, 6, and 8 were plentiful, but none of them that I had found had 7. Why 7? Does that mean something?
It's a prime number. 7's a cool number for Masons.
Yeah.
Freemasons, it's just one of those sacred numbers for Freemasons.
Yeah.
It's a 7.
Just something I noticed that it's got 7 petals on it. So could it be a true to rose? It could, I guess. 7's a holy number. Yeah. I mean, oh, there are. Renee said there's a lot of them in nature. Yeah. 7 is the sacred number. Right. So, I mean, I don't know why did this only have 7? But like I said, when you look out there, anybody that wants to go look at those and you'll see buttons galore that have 5, 6, or 8 petals on their flowers, but none of them that I saw had 7.
7
is that is significant? Don't really have any idea.
Maybe it's a bacon button.
Maybe it's a bacon. G is the 7th letter of the alphabet. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, which is also a Freemason symbol.
How do you lose a button? I've lost buttons before. I have.
Yeah, there's something about Oak Island though. People just lose these buttons willy-nilly.
Well, thread wasn't all that good back then.
They weren't. Some of them were just held on with clasps, right? They weren't.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I guess if they're doing manual labor, digging, moving rocks around, boulders, they're gonna lose a button or two.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. 8 is gold, 7 is silver. Yeah. One thing I noticed on here, Tom, they're on to us. They are so on to us.
I see.
Yeah. So I was looking at this picture and I was trying to see, well, when was this? Look at this. You can read everything down here except for what?
Yep.
The date and time.
They even have the bags underneath. You can't read any detail on those either.
Did you notice that, folks? Look at here.
Yeah.
It's got the whiteout on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah. They blurred out stuff on the
They're
table.
on to us. Dang it. I had to point that out because I was like, I'm always looking for dates so we can see when what's going on and when. And they blocked us out. So couldn't even see it down on those bags. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. They're messing with us. Yeah, they found us out. Yep. Son of a gun. I know, right? They did. They found us out. We can't get by with that anymore. That was always a good thing to see when during the season was it? August, September?
Well, let's us put together the timeline, right?
Exactly. I think somebody from Prometheus must watch the podcast because they know.
Oh, they're watching. I have it on reliable authority that we get checked out from time to time.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, they do. They want to make sure we're not breaking any rules, I guess, or seeing what we might know.
Very little.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
my perspective.
but it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with it. So anyway, that's that part of the show. We're gonna do the giveaway here in just a minute, but so the money pit, a lot of good stuff happening there, and then lots live with that button find. Another good interesting find they got there going on, right? So
we're really like when they describe the button as being multi-layered or multifaceted or whatever it was. Like it's not just a stamped piece of metal. It's
correct.
Different layers actually assembled, which is what makes it high end in addition to the design.
And they said it was English. They thought
it was English.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Gary thought it was English.
Yeah, Gary thought it was the English.
Possibly 1600s, but most likely.
Yeah, that's what they said. Emma said it was 1700s and earlier, and then Gary jumped out with the late 1600s. Who's that?
Yeah, there we go.
And that's when Phipps came up three times on the show.
Yeah, I was going to say
about drinking wine. The third one, you got to chug.
Well, he fits the timeline, right? For that particular era, 100 years before the discovery of the money pit.
Ooh, that's what I was going to say. And Renee beat me to it. She said she was looking through pictures of Phipps to see the buttons on his clothes. Because I thought, maybe like who would have a very special, unique, because it seems like a unique button that they hadn't quite seen before.
It's high end, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it is for sure. Yeah. Anything that decorated is going to be money. For sure.
I don't own any nice buttons. Maybe I need to up my button game.
Multi-level buttons in history. No, I did not, Lee. And go for it and let me know what you find.
You get back to us. Yeah. We'll wait. Get back to us. We'll wait.
Yeah.
I've learned about butternuts and now multi-level buttons.
The things we learn on this show, not just the podcast, but on the Oak Island show.
Muon technology.
Oh my gosh, it's just it's crazy. It
XRF really scanners.
Oh, I know, right? We know all
laser ablation.
Laser
dendrochronology.
Oh, how to say that?
Dendro. Now you know what it means.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that dendro. Oh yeah.
Yep. All kinds of interesting stuff. Warren Kelly, thank you, sir, from Australia, all the way from Australia. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. So so all right, let's do the giveaway real quick, and then we'll jump into the stinky swamp. So Linda's going to come in here and join us. She's all wrapped up for the cold. Can't be that cold and sorry, Linda. I muted you. I'll unmute you. There you go. What's that?
I said I want to see you jump into the stinky swamp.
I would.
Next, we're going to jump into the stinky swamp.
I want to see a show of hands and from the chat. If any of you were invited to go and help and jump into the stinky swamp, how many of you would do it?
I'd go watch you.
You wouldn't jump in?
No, I've been in the swamp. I've been in the swamp before. I don't care for it.
I have too. Not in Nova Scotia, but I have definitely been in swamps in northern Michigan, and there's a lot of them. Jess Grollo probably knows all about the cedar swamps up there. And the root beer. Tequamanon Falls is fed from the cedar swamps. And when it comes over the falls right there, it looks like root beer. They call it the root beer falls. And then down at the bottom, it actually creates foam down at the bottom where it hits the other part of the river, and looks like root beer.
Yep.
It really truly does.
So much, biomass or whatever to it. Yeah.
Yep. And it's just the color of root beer coming over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now
send me in. I can't say I'd like it, but I'd go. Sharon said. Oh yeah, a lot of hands coming up. Absolutely, I would. MacGyver's in. Yep, I'm in. Send me in. Sandy's in. I have smelt that swamp. Nope. Not during bug season. That's a good point, Dave. Yeah, very good point. All right. So for tonight, we have the giveaway that I mentioned earlier. It is the book from James McQuiston. It's like number 85 or something he has on Oak Island or something like that, I think. Another good one, though. Very good one. The Missing Links. And then we have a sticker. And these are donated by Jan Anderson. So thank you very much, Jan. Appreciate that very, very much. Linda's going to do a spinaroo here in a minute. And to let you know how to be part of this, you must be part of our Facebook group page. It's linked below in the description, the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond Skinwalker Ranch. Linda will put out a post, and she will have a picture of the following upcoming week's giveaways. And then all you have to do is comment on that post and say yes. And then you're automatically entered into the spinaroo for tonight. You must be present at the podcast to win. We'll give you about a minute. When the name comes up, we'll give you about a minute to jump in and say you're here. And then if not, we'll spin again until we get a winner. So what do you think, Linda? Are you ready?
I am ready. It's really helpful for those of you who use odd names on YouTube. If you let me know what your real name is, I would not necessarily post it on here or anything like that, but we did have someone miss out on a prize because we didn't know that he was that particular unusual name.
Yeah, that's very important.
We felt very badly about that, but I don't have any way of knowing that unless you tell me. I did have about 3 people tell me this week what their names are, and I have a little book.
So if you've got an alias, if you've got an alias, let her know.
Crazy Oak Island.
All that information is in this book.
Oh, that is just too funny.
Never to be released.
Crazy Oak Island.
This is also a Jan Anderson gift.
Oh my gosh.
She knows
funny.
Me well.
So
she knitted my scarf, and there's, I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's Carmen's scarf pin.
Oh,
scarf pin. Where'd you get that from?
Oh, a friend gave it to me.
Oh, that's so nice of him.
Yes, he is. He's so nice.
Don't hurt your arm.
From Jeff and Christina.
And that thing is sharp too. That point on that thing.
It's sharp and it's heavy.
It is very heavy. Carmen Lake made that.
Heavy.
That's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yep. You make some really, really cool stuff. All right, let's put you in solo
last
layout.
time I didn't have it on, and Jan was like, "Don't you have one of Carmen's scarf pins?" Like, yes, I do. Jeff and Christina gave it to me.
Yeah, those are
okay.
Cool.
Here we go.
All right. If you can make it work.
Get it to come on.
Darlene McKelvey. Darlene McKelvey, are you here, Darlene?
Darlene was here earlier.
Yep. Let me know if you're here. Darlene. Yeah, let us know if you're here.
Darlene.
Isn't that Jolene? Oh, it's Jolene.
It is Jolene.
Editorial license again.
But you were saying Darlene. I had to.
Seth, you drinking moonshine from that glass jar?
Nope, just some water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Darlene. I haven't seen Darlene yet.
Right. Just casually drinking some moonshine.
Come on, Darlene, we're waiting on you. Let's go.
No,
Yep.
I would be like after each sip.
With moonshine? Yeah.
Yeah, moonshine.
The one time I tried it, I don't think I'd be able to keep a straight face.
Well, we were doing that thing about calling it the Oak Island sipping game. If you, your libation of choice, you can sip while you, every time they bring up, the XRF machine again and talk about it, or the Phipps 3 times on the show last night. By the end of the show, depends on how much you're sipping, right? No Darlene yet. Darlene, where are you? We got Darlene.
Darlene, we're going to have to spin again.
That wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Okay.
All right. We'll have to spin again.
No,
all right. We're going to spin again, Darlene. Sorry about that. Yeah. Come on down.
I got to get back to the place where I can spin again.
All right. Where is the Facebook link? It's in the description below of the show. Look in the description. You'll see it down there.
It's like the second time I spin, it makes it very hard for you to see.
Yeah. Ann McCutcheon.
Ann's here.
Ann's here. Ann, are you here? Let us
Ann,
know if
Come
you're
on
here.
down.
I'm pretty sure I saw her name earlier.
Yeah. I did want to say too that on the website, the J-Free 906, Ann's here. There we are. Ann is here.
Here we go. We have a winner.
Yep, we have a winner. On the jfree906.com website, we do have nobody's won it yet. Nobody's won the Baconian Cipher.
You've had a
to
couple
win-
people, right?
to win
Get
some
halfway.
free merch. We've had about 3 people have had the first part of it. It's 2 parts. First is tells you what cipher to use, and then you have to use that cipher to get the second part. I'll give you that much of a hint. 3 people have got the first part, but not the second part.
Do they know that they've gotten the first part?
Yes, I've told them all that they've gotten the first part because they've
Okay.
emailed me that they had the answer, and then I had to tell them, well, you got first part of it.
And they were like, oh, more work. Thanks.
Yeah, there you go. Linda
Yeah,
said I
there,
gave
Linda.
up on it.
You can do it, Linda.
We will give more hints as we go along because we may need to.
Well, what do they win if they?
We got some free merch.
Oh,
They're
cool.
gonna get some free merch. I got some new stuff coming from Circle J, doing some embroidery work. So we got some free merch coming. And Jeff Signori is going to get one of these. He's going to get a hat. He was the first one to come up with the first half, and he and I talked, and he's been a great
gets you a hat.
friend, a great friend to the show. So he's going to get a hat.
Yeah.
I'm going to send that off to him. And he was the first one to come up with the first half of it. And I don't know, Jeff, are you working on the second half at all? Or, or did you give up too? I hope not. Hopefully you didn't.
Yeah, that black hat's cool. You got more of those on the.
Yeah, I just got more of these. These were done by Circle J,
cool.
friend of Linda's. And yeah, they're embroidered. Very nice. I like the work that she does. She does very, very good embroidery work.
Can you show the embroidery a little up close?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, cool. I was curious if it was
very
all
nice, isn't it?
fabric. That's a cool all black hat. You could wear that on Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, I've actually got a couple that have a white. They're black and white. They're two-tone.
cool.
She just threw them in.
Black is really awesome.
Yeah,
I really like that.
I love my blue and gray. Goes with me, but that all black is cool. I might.
Yeah. So we're gonna switch it up a little bit. So yeah.
I'm with Zane. I need that.
So yeah, all black, exactly. Yeah. So we're going to give Jeff one because he was the first one to come up with that part. But there'll be some merch. Check out the merch. You can see some of it on the website. If you want to help support the show, you can do that too. You can buy some of the merchandise we have out there. And I don't have the hoodies shown yet, but you'll see those very, very soon. Hopefully by the next show or the next week's show. All right. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Jan,
Linda.
if you will give me your address and stuff, I'll get it to Jan for you. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, Linda.
Okay. So moving right along, we're going to jump over to as I said earlier, the Stinky Swamp. And this is getting really, really, really interesting because of what they're finding over here. I grabbed this picture here because of what we see the excavator on top of. Is he utilizing the corduroy road? Look right here.
I got to make it bigger. A second.
I'll make it bigger for you.
There you go.
I can. Oh, let me get rid of this and bring this up and then zoom in.
I would say, yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like
There you
he's
go.
using
You got the
corduroy
wood's
road.
hanging right off it where he shredded with the loader. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I grabbed that particular picture right there, just because he's using that corduroy road for what it's meant for, what we were talking about last week.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's the bricks. They found this. I'm going to call it a vault because I don't know what else to call it right now. And this feature that had brick and slate rock all around it, and you can actually. I took this picture here simply because it gives you a better perspective of where it is. People were asking, where is it? Is it on the north side of the road, south side of the road, or whatever.
Yeah.
You can see right here that it is on the swamp side or the south side of the road that goes to Nolan's house. That
Correct.
road actually goes all the way around to the money pit via almost into Smith's Cove and up and around. But that is on the south. They are currently on the south side of the road.
They're on the south side of the road, north end of the swamp.
Correct. Yep. North end of the swamp. Thank you. So that's where they're working right now. And so they were working on this thing and they talked about, or when they saw it, you remember Rick say something about Anthony Graves.
Mm-hmm.
And Anthony Graves had a house there when he bought all of this land. Now, he bought this from the relatives of John Smith.
The estate of John Smith, yep.
Mm-hmm. From the estate of John Smith. He bought lots 5 through 20. Now, rather than put his house on lot 18 where the money pit is, like John Smith did, he had a house right there on the flat of the money pit. He put his house over on lot 11, which was very close, like right about in here area, which is very close to where they are currently finding this so-called vault, right? So is the vault, is it something that he created, or is it something that was there that he found?
And then maybe he kind of added his own bricks too to kind of modify and
it was a brick factory or brick, whatever you want to call them, on the island at one point in time too.
Oh, there was?
Yes, and I'll show a picture of that here in a second. Here's where his house was roughly, based upon, and they are actually where they are looking right now.
Yeah,
is right about here.
Okay.
Right in this area right here is where they are. So 100 yards maybe, if that, from where his house was.
Yep.
So is it likely?
Did Laird say 150 feet or 50 yards that way or something? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And he is the one. I always thought it was Samuel Ball, but I guess it turns out that there's no actual record of Samuel Ball ever using silver Spanish coins to buy materials on the mainland.
No, all rumor.
All rumor. But there is word, and again, we don't know if it's true or not, that Anthony Graves did. They even talked about it on the show. And so if he did, it would be pretty. I mean, I can't imagine if you had these silver coins and you went to town and you wanted to buy some lumber or something and put it on your boat and get it back over to the island, wouldn't you raise a few eyebrows?
Well, it's going to depend on the time and the currency, and people were still exchanging those coins just like U.S. money or pound sterling or whatever.
Maybe.
Paper money wasn't a big thing.
Right.
So I don't know. But yeah, you're right. If some guy comes into town and starts spending a bunch of Spanish silver coins.
Yeah. They're going to follow him out of town.
Raise a few eyebrows.
And buys half an island.
Yeah. If I moved into the mountains, or a mountain that had a lot of legend and folklore around it, and then I come into town and I start paying with gold coins, they're going to be like, oh, well, Seth found gold up in the mountains, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They
start following you around.
Yeah. Where's his stash? And then I might have a secret, tunnel buried away from my house where
you might have a little vault somewhere. Yeah. So they used a combination of slate and brick on this, and then they talked about the fact that it was very similar to, and I had forgotten this, and I really had to think about this for a minute, trying to remember if they actually talked about it that much on the show. But Laird had said that the brick reminded him very much of the handmade bricks that were from the circular feature from Lot 5.
Lot 5, right.
Yeah, I too, that confused me because I don't remember there being brick at that circular feature. Was there?
I don't recall seeing it, but we know that they found something there similar to it now, for sure.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it on the show.
No.
I mean, I might have to go back and look, see, but.
So Lot 5, also, that's where they have dirt. That's money pit dirt, right?
And it could be they found these bricks on Lot 5.
And now they've got bricks. Oh, I like that idea, Tom. Maybe he moved them from Lot 5 to help build this.
Or they all came from the same place.
So Lot 5's connected to this site and the money pit.
Could be. I mean, it's very interesting that they found those bricks. And now, keep in mind, as Tom had already mentioned, there was a brick factory on Oak Island in that general area. And right here it is. And that's the north side of the swamp. Here's the swamp. And that right up there, there's no
factory there. It's incredible that there was, but just because there was a factory there doesn't mean these bricks came from that factory.
Correct.
There's no way to connect it.
Right. And that brick factory, you heard Laird say that they were handmade, and they were made by laying them on the ground. That's why the surface was so rough and had probably,
oh, that's cool,
stuff in it. They were laid on the ground to dry. So if they had a brick factory, would they lay them on the ground to dry them, or would they have a better process for that? I don't know.
They would be fired, I think, at some point.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I'd like to see them do is if those bricks were manufactured locally, they should be able to run this through Emma's computer and see what soil samples match, right? She's got a million soil samples lined up there from all over the island.
Exactly.
So where did the material come from to make the brick?
Right. And Laird took one, the one that Alex had picked up and then he put back. Laird had taken that with him and took it to the lab because he said, I'm going to take this to the lab. So she will analyze that, and hopefully we'll get to see what that's all about. They also had, you can see the brick factory right here. I used this picture as well. There's the brick factory, and then it also had a lumber mill.
Yep.
Now, I guess you would have the lumber mill and a brick factory. You're not going to have a brick factory, and you're not going to be selling bricks to the mainlanders.
Yeah, and was it
yeah,
I guess was it a factory as we might envision a factory, with a bunch of people making bricks, or was it one guy operating similar to a blacksmith
and using them on the island?
Yeah, and for whatever reason,
yeah. Yes, you can, Zane. Yeah. Which one? This bigger one or the other one? I continue this one if you'd like.
And the sawmill we know was there because that belonged to the Vaughns.
Right. And part of that sawmill is still there. There's concrete. There's concrete pillars
pylons,
in the ground. Or pylons. Yeah, they're still in the ground. So, what's the date for them? I don't know, Brian. Does anybody know that? I don't know. The sawmill is much newer. I don't know the dates. We'll have to look that up and see if we can get a date on that. Let's see. Because okay.
To Albert's point, that the slate would have come from the east side of the island or west side? West.
The slate? Oh, the slate was from
from the west side.
Yeah, slate on the west. Yeah. Yep. That's what they had.
Too many islands there. One island was slate, and the other one is basically just.
They said the North Drumlin or the East Drumlin and the West Drumlin. The West Drumlin was slate.
Yep. So
all this side of the swamp was slate, and that's where they would have got it from and taken it over there probably. So yeah, there was some different things there. We're gonna have to get a little bit more information on that brick factory, and was it truly a brick factory? They didn't talk about it at all in the show last night.
Yeah, you would think they'd bring that up. Oh,
you would think so.
Did you know there was a brick factory right over there? I would have said something.
And they didn't mention it, so I'm wondering if maybe that's just a rumor.
Some of those maps have stuff added in there too.
Yeah, or maybe it's like Tom was saying, where it's like when we think of factory with our modern, because he's right. I thought the same thing. Oh wow, there's a big brick factory, but he's right. It probably was like some small home operation of a family of brick makers just for local stuff.
Maybe
so maybe it was to not mislead people into thinking there was some actual factory.
Because I mean, at that time, that supposed factory there, the island was not connected by land, so any bricks or whatever materials you took off and on, they were coming off by boat.
Right, because the causeway didn't get put in until Dunfield in 1965ish time frame.
Okay.
So why would you have a brick factory over there and you're going to be hauling it? You'd make it on the mainland. You wouldn't put it on the island, and you're going to have more customers on the mainland than you would on the island. So
I mean, interesting to see what the composition of those bricks is. That's
yeah,
gonna be
exactly.
The part.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought. Yeah.
And that was Anthony Graves bought that property in 1857. He died in 1888. Let's see, who was reportedly purchased goods on the, he reportedly purchased goods on the island. I thought that was in or off the island. He bought goods with his Spanish coins. Laird said that they were handmade bricks like the ones that they found in the circular feature of Lot 5. Ian was out and he took a look at this area as well.
Mm-hmm.
There it is there, cleaned up a little bit. And Ian came out and took a look at it, and he said it would not have been, because they were talking about it being in the muck, like you see right now, this terrible, stinky muck. He said it wouldn't have been muck back then. It'd been more of a meadow.
Yeah, and we talked about that last week. What happens when you close off an open channel?
Yeah,
it's going to fill up eventually with something.
You're going to end up, exactly. So a lot of stuff leading to that whole thing of it being blocked off and filled in.
Now, wood, they found the wood in there too. Do you have shots of the wood or anything? But they found the wood in there too.
Yeah, I do. And Steve, I'm stumbling for his name there for a second. Steve, he said matches the cobble path if that means anything, but he also said that that point right there of where the slate was on the top is the same height as the stone road in the swamp down the southeast corner swamp.
I think that means something because like we're just saying with Dr. Spooner, like you're going to have, depending on your time frame, you're going to have different layers of muck and other stuff. And at what time was there no muck there for something to be built at the same elevation as the stone road?
And they had to dig down to find both those structures.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think Graves, right? I don't think he built this. I think he knew of it or found it and maybe added his own bricks to it to kind of, maybe he found it and used it for his own.
Yeah. Because all Laird really said about the bricks was they're not modern.
Correct.
So they're more than 200 years old. So we know that.
Now, here's what this looks like to me. And here goes, I'm grabbing. Let me get
Robert, you calm down. Sorry, I saw Robert.
I'm going to grab my speculation hat here for a second.
There we go.
Because looking at this thing right here, it doesn't look like a well to me. Personally, yeah, thanks. He's got his speculation hat on. It doesn't look like a well to me. And as Tom pointed out, did you see the wood? Yes, I did. And what that wood looks like to me is that if this was some sort of a hiding place for you to hide some sort of your treasure or your money, you'd either hide it under the floorboards of your house, possibly, or you'd hide it outside your property somewhere on your property, but away from the house. And you would have boards across the top of it from side to side, like you see this one right here that has obviously rotted away. Here's another one right here. You'd lay them across and you'd cover it with dirt because the boards would keep the dirt from falling in on top of your treasure. And then you'd hide it with the dirt, maybe throw some, grass on it or something like that to hide it. And then you go and you could just uncover it and get your stuff out of there, right?
Yep. No reason why you couldn't.
I think that's what it is. I think it's a hiding place. It's a little vault.
It could be a hiding place. The other thing I thought of too was an in-ground cooler.
Yep. That's true. Could very well be that as well.
That's not as fun as what I'm hoping for.
You put them in a cold, damp spot and you put boards across them inside for shelves to put your food on so it doesn't spoil. And then you put boards over the top to cover them to keep the cold in.
Yeah. And even if you did put a little dirt on top of that, it would help too. So,
yep. Oh, you would. I mean, if you had moss, you'd cover it with moss, right? But
yeah. Thank you, Leanne. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Gee, Seth, you might get that dividend check after all.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, folks. It's really very, very helpful. So I'm with Seth though. I want this to be a little vault area or some kind of
I think there's more to it than just a cooler.
I think so too. I really do. I really.
If you're going to build a cooler, I mean, the rocks are a good idea, but it would be more effective and efficient to build it out of boards.
Yeah. Well, what did somebody say? A fancy outhouse? Yeah.
No. I mean, Larry does. Who makes a comment at the end of it about, well, we're
Yep.
going to find at the bottom. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I grabbed this picture right here because if you zoom in, you can see it right there.
Yep.
You can actually look down upon it. And if I zoom back out, you can kind of get a better idea of where it is in relation to the road and everything right there. So, and the property. So it's really close to dry ground. And as Ian said, it probably was a meadow at one point. It was
Yep.
dry ground.
Mm-hmm.
Nick 71, thank you so much. You're right. It's a hiding place. And the swamp with its eye is from the Masons. It is a American dollar bill. Is on the American dollar bill. I think it's. I don't believe in coincidences, and it's just too close to being exactly like the pyramid with the all-seeing eye on it. I mean,
I wonder if it lines up to any of the, stone triangle angles or, any of those things. Nolan's Cross.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's any of those sight lines are involved there.
that's interesting, Coach, because that's coming up. Yeah, that's coming up for sure. Let's see what I've got next here. Oh, one of the things too that I wanted to talk about, if you go back and you remember when John Edwards was on in the War Room, and he was talking about the Tree of Life, and he was giving them some points to look at. Now, this is something that I got to share with Zane. I sent over a couple to you in Discord, Zane, because the one that you had done earlier, when I went back and I rewatched the show with John, and here's a screenshot from it. And he was talking about these points that he had referenced. And it was funny because they were closed captioning John. But you see the different points now on the main stem of the cross, Nolan's cross. You've got cone A, B, and C. Then you got Dath, Tefret, Yasad, and then I forget the name of the bottom one. It's not listed here, and I've forgotten now. But cone D, he was saying, was a marker and not one of the actual points of cone D. But cone E is the foundation stone. So if you look at it like that, and I want Zane to lay this out if you get a chance on that one where you had put that on Nolan's car. I want to see just how close this comes to where they are looking right now. With Tefret or the Dath. So let's take a look at that when you get a chance. Now,
that's what I was saying about seeing if you could figure if it lined up with anything else.
Yeah, exactly. So they are at John Edwards' beauty location, which is Tefret, right? That's Tefret. I mean, he was telling them to go and look at these things and have a good look at them. So
yeah, I just see a comment there from Linda.
Yeah.
Nolan found some bricks and basically declared that there must have been a brick factory there.
Oh, okay.
So that was Fred's conclusion, I guess.
Oh, Fred also found bricks. So was there really a brick factory, or was it just Fred Nolan supposing there was?
Could be, yeah.
And who made the bricks and why?
Mm-hmm. Once they source the material, they'll know.
Okay. Yeah. So where's the hatch on Zena's map? According to Zena's map, it's down further down by lots 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So I know I thought about that too. That was who said that? Brian. I thought about that as well. I thought about the hatch, because wouldn't that be cool if that was the hatch? But I don't believe it is. I think the hatch is down. You're on mute, Seth.
Sorry. I was saying this is more like where the basin dam part is on the map, Zena's map.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yep.
the
Just inside of where
anchors.
the dam is. Yep.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there are any historic portraits of William Phipps, maybe showing his coat. Yeah, that's what Renee was saying. Look at his coat. She was checking out his coat to see if there was any kind of buttons on there that were like that. I don't know. They always use those pictures of Phipps and Belcher, but they always say that it's artificially made. It's
AI
not
generated. Yeah.
yeah, AI generated pictures. Yeah, exactly. So not really him. But we're so interesting stuff. We're gonna be talking about him and more when we get some people coming up here in this little. For those of you who may not have heard that, thank you, Doug. Super sticker from Doug Simmons. Doug is going to be one of our guys, so we're going to have him on. Tom and I were talking about a little mini series that we're going to put together on the timeline of the Who of Oak Island, because you've heard about the multi-generational use of Oak Island. There's his book right there. And so we're gonna put this timeline together into a little mini series. And so because I need to see this. And Tom and I have talked about it many, many times. They've talked about it on the show many times, but they always spread it out. It's always over a long period of time. So you never know, okay, well, 1100s was who and 1200s was who, 1400 who. So we're going to lay it all out and have the actual researchers for that time frame come on and talk about it. And we're going to put it together into a little mini series for everybody. So I think that's going to be very informative. I know we're going to learn a lot, Tom. You and I are going to get
Absolutely.
it. I mean, we've had all these folks on before, but not specifically talking like this. So it's going to be a good show, I think, and we'll put that together for you. So that's why I said click on the subscribe button, click on that notification bell, because it's going to be a pre-recorded show. So we're going to upload it as we get them done. So be aware of that. All right. Next time on the Curse of Oak Island. This is going to be another good one coming up. On more wood and the good old money pit. And we'll get to find out where and how deep and all of that stuff. And are they going to get a camera down in that hole? I don't know. Into that void?
I hope so.
Yeah. Katya's back. And what's Katya doing? Katya's putting a metal detector down in that vault.
Nice.
Yeah. And who else is digging down? Look at his hands.
Is that Rick?
Look at that. Yeah.
Rick.
Nice.
That is Rick. And there he is getting all down in there.
Yeah.
But I noticed something that I don't know if anybody else, I noticed it on this picture.
I've got more gray hairs than Rick. Son of a gun.
Yeah. Why is he gray down here and he's not?
Yeah, that's it.
People said that he colors his hair. He does not color his hair.
No,
I don't think so.
Natural.
Yeah.
Wow.
How does he get away with that? Me, I'm gray top and bottom, but I don't know. But did you guys notice this right here? I don't know what that is.
No.
It looks dirty.
But it looks like something taken out of the
And just looking at that right on the other side of the metal detector shaft there. Look at that piece of slate or lumber or timber that's got the notch
here?
in it. Yeah.
Oh.
Sitting
Right
on a
here.
rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
See the notch in it?
Yeah. So right here. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. More slate, rock, and brick over here on this side. This is definitely, I don't know. It's not a latrine. Brick's all in there, and here's that thing
The world's
again.
fanciest latrine, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
See, there's two somethings right
what's
here.
That thing here, yeah, it's got a hole in it or something. It's
Yeah.
circular and it's got a hole in it.
Somebody dropped their utility belt in and they had to fish it out.
Yeah, there's two things there, and they both have little holes in them right here.
It looks like leather.
The one
It
on the
does
left-
kind of look
the
like
one
leather.
On the left looks like it could be a hinge.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Hmm.
and if it was a hinge on a chest, a treasure chest, as Jack Begley would say, a treasure chest. It looks like it could be a hinge on a treasure chest.
Or a trap door.
Mhm.
Trap door. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to get some more information on this. They got some hits down there. I think they were more iron hits, but Gringotts Vault. It sure looks like a secret vault. It does, Gregory. It does look like a secret. It does. It's and think about it. Go back in time. They didn't have banks to go down and keep all your money in the bank.
Nope.
Like that. So you had to hide it somewhere. It's kind of deep for a hiding place unless you had a lot of stuff to put in there. But again, talking about those boards that could have gone across the top. hinge for a leather vault and a leather pouch. It could be a leather hinge because they used leather for hinges a lot back then too. Yep. Yeah, that's true, Linda. Except for the Templars Bank. Yeah, Sharon, that's very true. Huh? So yeah, there you go. And then Alex was very happy about all this stuff. He has something in his hand.
There's a lot of smiling going on.
A lot of smiling going on, but I can't tell what this is right here. He's holding on to something and he's pretty happy about it. So, and then this is about the time I would think somewhere in this time frame is when Maddie was out there and did his drilling down. Because he came out there and they showed him the vault. And we didn't get to see it back then. But yeah, so.
Pretty cool.
Swamp Vault. I don't know. What do you guys think? Pretty good episode.
Yep. Absolutely.
I thought it was a good one. Yeah, we're gonna get to see more about this this vault, and I really hope because of all the work that they've been doing down in the money pit, and I think they've hit a void, a very nice void down there. Get a camera in that thing. Get something in there. Let's get a look at this. But I think they're finally looking in the right area. You know, I had high hopes for the baby blob and all that area up there. That panned out. It didn't really pan out. But you know, I did talk to Jan Franke. He was the guy that had put that GPR unit down. He had a borehole GPR that he put down inside that one hole, and he found some stuff. I talked to him after the fact. And we know that we don't get all the information that they do. We know that Prometheus does not air every single thing that the guys on the island do. They couldn't because you'd be never ending show all summer long with all the film footage. We see about less than 1%, you know. But did they look in? Did they do other boreholes down there? Did they do other ones looking for his open vault area that he had found with the GPR? I don't know. Because all we saw was they did one hole and go, oh, we didn't hit it, nothing here.
We missed it. Move on. Yeah. So did they do more? We don't know.
Yeah. And Jan's he's over in Indonesia or somewhere, or was. He's getting back, and I'd love to have him come on. We did talk about him coming on the show. So he can talk about this a little deeper for us and explain a little bit more. But he didn't see the episode because they don't air it over in Indonesia, I guess, or whatever. So, but he said, did they only look into one hole? I said, that's a question for you to ask, not me. So, but he was a little disappointed because he stands by his data.
Right.
And that's the same thing about talking about the gold and silver content in the water. We've talked about that before. That's not a speculation. No. On Matt Lukeman and Fred, Dr. Michaels, and Ian Spooner's part. They're not speculating about that. That's data that's telling them that.
I mean, you think about especially someone like Marty. Okay, so we drilled a hole. We didn't hit this supposed void. The very next thing I do is pick up my phone and I call this fellow and say, hey, listen, it's not there. What's going on?
Yeah. What next? Exactly. I would have been on the phone with him immediately to find out what's going on and where else to look. Because it does not give direction. That's one thing Jan told me. It does not give direction. It just shows a distance from, but it doesn't say if it's north, south, east, or west. And they punched one hole. It looked like that they punched one hole, didn't hit it, and moved on. So I don't know. Anyway, that's it for us for tonight, folks. Like I said, stay tuned for some stuff coming up. For those of you who like Bigfoot, we got Bigfoot starting in about an hour.
Yeah!
Expedition Bigfoot episode, or season 6, episode 1. And we're going to be talking about that tomorrow night. We're going to talk about the show that's on tonight. We're going to talk about it tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Shannon DeSalvo and Mike Owen are going to join me. They're the Bigfoot people. Well, actually, Shannon's not. She's learning.
No. Shannon's a Bigfoot person now, and I'm gonna hold her to that next time.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome. You're officially a Bigfoot person.
You're officially into the Bigfoot stuff. Yep. So we're going to be talking about Expedition Bigfoot tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully, if you're into that, join us for that. And then on Friday night, I'm going to be joining Miriam over on her Facebook channel. And we're going to do a little bit of talking about UFOs, and UAPs, and stuff like that on her channel.
Very cool.
She's invited me to come over, and so we're going to do that with her. So that'll be a lot of fun. So thank you, folks, for being here with us tonight. I really do appreciate it. If you like the content of the show we did here for you tonight, please give us a thumbs up. We appreciate that a whole lot. Seth and Tom, thank you guys.
Thank you. Fun as always.
You
Yes,
always bring it to the show every time.
Thanks, Jan, for the notes.
Thanks, Jan.
Yep. Jan and Linda, appreciate you too. And we thank all of you for being here with us tonight. And we'll catch you next time right here on the J Free 906 podcast and the Freeman Files. Good night.